Okay, hello and good morning, and thank you for joining our VMware webinar this morning. So we have Andy Philp here from VMware and Matt Gallick from McBites.
Hi all, thanks again for joining today. Really appreciate your time. Just a couple of bullet points to run through with you guys to let you know why we're running today. We've got a very long-standing relationship with VMware, kind of going on 7 or 8 years now, and being a tier 1 vendor with Bytes, they're one of our strongest partnerships through the data center and the desktop stack. So we just want to make sure our customers are updated as possible with what they're bringing to the table. And as you can see, they're now one of the leading vendors in the end-user computing space, so mobile all the way through the desktop piece. And also they have a dedicated end-user computing team who are here to support you guys with investigations into whether or not it fits your business requirements and how you can start to roll that out moving forward if you decide it's a good fit. We also have my team, the virtualization team at Bytes here, who are available to support you along with your account managers. So anything we can do to assist, please do mention in the critique forms or give your account manager a call afterwards, and we'll be happy to assist where we can. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the webinar.
Okay, thank you. So just by way of introduction, hopefully you can see my screen. My name is Andy Philp. I am responsible for product marketing for end-user computing at VMware across Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And again, I want to say thank you to Bytes for the opportunity to talk to your customers. To reiterate what was just said, Bytes are a very strategic customer, one of the handful that we have in the UK with a very long-standing relationship together. They have a very good understanding of all aspects of what VMware brings to market, especially around end-user computing. So again, thank you for the opportunity. In terms of what I'm going to cover in this webinar today, I'm going to take a quick look at what's driving the market around end-user computing and mobility, what's changing, what's forcing many vendors like VMware to bring to market new technologies to try and address this new world of end-user computing. We'll cover VMware's end-user computing strategy and our go-to-market in terms of technology. Then I'll provide an overview on Horizon 6 and then open up to questions, and I'm happy, if necessary, to give you a quick demo of some of the products as well. So please submit your questions, and if we can't get to them during the session today, we'll follow up, of course, after the event. So to begin, I really want to start looking just at IT in general and its evolution. So we've gone through many tectonic shifts over the years, none more so than in recent years. If you look at when computing started in the mainframe era, where the number of applications and users was very limited, this kind of gave way to, I guess, the last 15-20 years of the client-server model of computing, where the typical model of consumption was based around Windows computers. In many cases, it was tethered networks, very contrived environments. But the reality today is what we and many organizations today are calling the mobile cloud era, where the reality is we have billions of users empowered by different types of devices, not just Windows laptops, and they're accessing millions of applications anywhere, anytime. It's a very different world. So at VMware, we believe we are unique in the marketplace because we have the building blocks for providing what's required for the mobile cloud world. You may have heard our CEO, Pat Gelsinger, talk about the 3 key priorities of VMware, and these priorities map perfectly to addressing the mobile cloud era. So firstly, we have VMware's core competency, the software-defined data center. What started as compute virtualization has really grown into the ability to deliver all aspects of a data center, from computing, storage, networking, and deliver that all as software, and in turn wrap that in a rich layer of management and automation. And building on this bridge, VMware's hybrid cloud capabilities through vCloud Hybrid Service allows VMware, or actually its partners, to offer the same level of control and management to customers, but from public cloud environments with predictable costs and a single pane of glass for managing them. And it's the software-defined data center and the hybrid cloud initiatives that provide that perfect platform, which allows VMware to address and provide what we think is the industry-leading end-user computing solution for desktop and mobile. So, and VMware, hopefully you're all aware, is a very successful company. Our company is actually the fastest company in the world to grow beyond $4 billion in revenue annually. We did this in just 14 years. And the reason I say that is yes, we've grown very, very quickly, but the reason that EUC is so important to us at VMware today and to our customers is this is the part of our technology portfolio which will fund the next stage of growth in the company for the next 14 years. So, we've said, that EUC is a priority, but rather than just say that, I just want to spend some time looking at the investments that we've made in the company. And just in the last year, if you look at, go back to around October when we acquired Desktone, the leading provider of desktop as a service. That's now launched in the US. We have that available through our partners today as well, where they're providing desktop as a service as a platform in the public cloud using all the strengths of the Horizon platform. Going on, we announced partnerships with Cisco, with Google, with F5, with NVIDIA, covering application access, 3D, Chromebooks. We started acquiring the best talent in the industry. We hired people like Sanjay Poonen, who brought in a new executive team from the key players in the EUC industry, from mobility. We acquired a company called AirWatch, of course, back in February, who are the leading enterprise mobility management vendor in the world. This, by the way, was VMware's largest acquisition in the history of the company. In March, we launched Horizon DaaS, which is our platform on vCloud hybrid service. Today, only available in America, but stay tuned because very quickly you'll be hearing announcements about availability being expanded into EMEA, so stay tuned for that. And then finally, in April, we launched Horizon 6, the focus of this particular webinar, which was the largest, most successful launch in our company's history in terms of engagement, in terms of the numbers of customers that are showing interest in this technology. So rather than just a throwaway statement that EUC is a priority at VMware, hopefully this slide does some job in proving that we are investing, and it's our commitment to our customers, to our partners, that we will dominate, not just play, but we will dominate in all aspects of end-user computing. And we are lined up and we have the resourcing and the investment strength behind us to make that a reality. So it's an exciting time for us and for our partners. So if we kind of go back to the topic in hand, when it comes to end-user computing, we can see that there's a number of profound changes that are happening. This mobile cloud era, it's not only that end users are bringing more devices into work, it's that these devices are increasingly new and they're different. They're certainly not just PCs. Additionally, end users and organizations are relying more and more on a wider range of applications to get the work done and to try and drive competitive advantage. These apps, actually more and more, are tending to be more SaaS-based applications or OS-agnostic applications that are delivered just through a browser. And in conjunction with this, users are saving data through a multitude of cloud-based data sync services which aren't necessarily secure or integrated into the company's thinking. So devices, apps, and data, however, are only just part of this equation. If you think about this, another fundamental shift is in user expectation. If you think at home, a user chooses their device. Let's say it's an iPad. And in this case, they open it up at the box, they authenticate with their Apple ID, and they get, if they're an existing user of Apple, they get their apps, their photos, their music, their files, and it's delivered instantly. They have complete control over how the iPad looks. They have complete control over what apps are installed, what the background is, and also they're provided complete and instant productivity. Access to everything they need is provided immediately. So it's not only that these devices are being brought into business, but it's that expectation of control and of instant productivity that's being demanded from IT. And that's the main challenge for IT, how to deliver those same things with the existing tools. Now, these changing dynamics are resulting in a number of really difficult challenges for IT in organizations like yours. Many of you are finding that the traditional tools that relied on in the past, in the client-server era, where end users had one Windows device, those types of tools aren't really working now. In fact, research has repeatedly shown that trying to use traditional PCLM tools or PC lifecycle management tools to address these changes has led to three key challenges for IT in general. So firstly, security and compliance. In the existing model, data is tied to the endpoint. It's not tied to the user. So if the device goes walking, so does the data. Given that software images in this scenario tend to be manually updated, it's very difficult, in fact, almost impossible to ensure that they're all in compliance at any given time. And these days, given the growing number of devices that are coming into the organization, you can count on having to multiply this effort by at least 3. And this is becoming almost impossible cost and overhead to bear for many IT organizations that we talk to. Secondly, with the increasing effort involved in having to manage all these new devices, there's the challenge of audit and patching and updating. This really impacts the ability for IT to be agile. All while typically IT budgets are static, if not shrinking. So costs in terms of OPEX is typically about 3 times the cost of what it costs to actually do the capital outlay to begin with. So these challenges are very significant for IT. So we need a new approach to manage it. So in summary, what do users want? Well, for the end users, they want the ability to use any device to access their applications and data wherever they want. They don't want any compromises in the choice of their device or in the shape of how they work today. They want freedom. IT admins, on the other hand, they need a simple way of managing all of this and bringing everything in centrally and allowing their users to have this choice, but to maintain control, to maintain security. So they need to maintain this idea of security and insight, but still let users have the choice, which is really the crux of the paradox for IT that we talk about today. So if you look at our vision, at VMware we believe that users should have one place to go to securely access all applications, files, social tools, online services that they need. So from any device that they choose and from any location. So we believe that it's only VMware that extends the power of virtualization from data centers to devices through what we call our software-defined data center and our hybrid cloud initiatives. It's our mission as a vendor to deliver this secure virtual workspace that allows what we call to our users to work at the speed of life. And what we mean by that is that the ability to embrace different access models, different devices at any time. If you're anything like me, I wake up, I check my email on my phone, I have breakfast on using my iPad, I might read the news and check email, look at my calendar, I get on a train and carry on. I may use a thin client when I get to the office or maybe a Mac. I don't want to have 3 or 4 different models of working. I want one model. I want one place to go to get all of my resources, and I want it tied to my identity. Okay, and my identity is important because it changes. When my role changes, access to data, apps will change as I change within the company. So it's absolutely important that I decouple from the device and start thinking about user identity and provisioning users. So if you look at the reality, though, when we talk to customers, it's a very complex world out there. If you look at end-user computing, there's many different types of disciplines out there, from desktop, where VMware's very famous for operating in that. There's mobility, there's content collaboration, social, identity, and really our core aim as a vendor, especially with our acquisition of AirWatch, is to take this kind of fragmented approach where when we talk to our customers, it's very hard for them to try and build a strategic vision for their company that embraces all of this when they're having to deal with 5, 6, 7 different vendors. It's our commitment to our customers that VMware will be the one vendor that comes together with a unified solution that embraces desktop, that embraces mobility. And I think the acquisition of AirWatch is actually key to that. And this concept of unification, really, you'll see a lot of announcements about this going forward at the VMworld this year. It's already started. These things are coming together, and the reality is very soon we're going to have a unified platform that brings all the strengths of desktop and mobility together. So for me, it's a very exciting time, and our end goal is to provide you, our customers, potentially, to have that single platform. So, what is our approach? As we said, we need a way of enabling data and application consumption to be decoupled from devices. What Horizon does, very simply, is it allows IT to free the end users from, give them independence from particular devices, allow them to consume the resources they need to do their jobs. And in practice, this means moving away from managing the endpoint devices themselves and focusing more on access and entitlement for identity. and it means decoupling apps, the operating system, and personalization, and offering that as a consumable cloud-based service. And in principle, when this is in place, the delivery of these services can be implemented broadly in 3 key ways. So firstly, we offer virtualized desktops and applications where we execute and manage them in the data center securely, and we provide remote access to them on any endpoint through a remote display protocol. Secondly, we can synchronize and centrally manage desktop images to a remote physical device for local and native access. And then finally, we have a hybrid solution where the virtualized desktop is deployed to a remote device and executed locally. And I'll cover these in a bit more detail in the following slides. So the reality is a mixture of different use cases will be found across a typical organization. One size fits all will not work, so a hybrid mixture of these solutions is very likely. And this is really the key focus of Horizon, is embracing all these models of computing. And once this is in place, since users will be accessing their data and apps using different endpoints, we need a unified interface, or a workspace, what we call it, that adapts to the device being used at the time and gives the best possible experience to the users. That's secure, based on identity, and delivers all the resources that the user needs. So going a little bit more detail into the delivery models, I think anyone that's familiar with VMware will be very familiar with the concept of VDI. The ability for us to virtualize desktops has been a core competency of VMware now for many years. An ability to execute and centrally in a data center in the cloud means that from a security perspective, all of the data is maintained in the core, in the data center, and it allows complete device freedom in terms of what the user is accessing to get their desktop. Not only is this secure, but in terms of IT operational costs, this can be massively reduced since all the execution is centralized, and it makes support much, much easier in terms of delivering desktop. And this delivery model is supported by VMware Horizon's View solution, and it's underpinned by our workspace portal, which again I can show you later at the end of this webinar. Again, you may be aware of a company that we acquired about 2 years ago called Winova, and the focus of this was really around central image management. And this is because, if we look at virtualized desktops, desktops and apps require a continuous network connection for the users to be able to use them. And in some cases, this isn't possible, in fact, feasible. So for those users, a solution that allows centralized management, like you would associate with a VDI, but with offline and native execution, is absolutely perfect. In other words, a solution that allows for better management of physical devices. So within the Horizon 6 portfolio, this is the model that's implemented by VMware Mirage. Mirage works by logically layering the Windows desktop image on the endpoint into distinct layers for drivers, operating system, apps, data, personality. And these are then synced back individually with one another and allows us to swap them in and out, which supports many use cases like operating system migration, disaster recovery, endpoint continuity. In a way, this is a corporate Windows desktop image, including the apps, but delivered as a service from the cloud, but local and native to Windows devices. There's no concept of virtualization. So it's what users have today, but embracing that same delivery and the economics of centralized management that we associate with VDI. And then finally, we have this idea of containerized desktops. And this is kind of almost like the hidden gem within the Horizon 6 portfolio. This is where particularly effective for bring your own device use cases where the end user wishes to use their own hardware. Maybe it's a Mac, maybe it's a Linux laptop, maybe it's a Windows device, but they don't want any interaction with the work environment. So it works well because if we provide a secure container, in this way it doesn't provide or interfere in any way with the personally owned content on the endpoint. But the corporate image is secure and it's managed by IT. This solution consists of VMware Fusion 6 Professional, which is part of the Mirage bundle. This allows us to host a virtual machine on a Mac, a PC, or even a Linux machine, and have VMware Mirage again provide the image management capabilities. So again, we'll cover this later. Think of one image that you manage centrally, delivering it to VDI desktops where appropriate, to physical machines that are native, and to Macs, Linux, and Windows devices that are bring your own desktop. So again, it's about central image management. And these three use cases, underpinned by VMware Secure Workspace, covers, we believe, the vast majority of requirements for most customers. They're implementing a desktop transformation project, or they're interested in offering anytime, anywhere access across any device. We believe that this is the right platform to allow our customers to do it. So, in terms of what we did in April, hopefully you're all aware of the launch of Horizon 6. This, in fact, was a hugely successful launch for us in terms of engagement with press, with analysts, with our partners, and many, many customers. And I just want to spend some time going through some of the finer points of what we announced. In terms of Horizon 6, we talked about really 6 pillars. I'm not going to go into detail of all of them, but what Horizon 6 is designed to do is extend the power of virtualization and all of the, I apologize for the mouse, it seems to keep forwarding slides, I apologize for that. Horizon 6 extends the power of virtualization from the data center right through to the desktop, so it's built on our core competency as a vendor, and the idea is to allow customers to deliver, manage, and protect all of their Windows and online resources, including apps to end users, basically on any device. So if we look at some of the core competencies, we have a single platform to deliver virtual desktops, packaged-in apps, application publishing, which we'll cover in a moment, as well as, in some cases, our customers want to maintain existing investments in products like Citrix XenApp. We can tie this all together into a single platform. We deliver that through a unified workspace for end users to authenticate once and get a single sign-on experience for all of their apps and all their desktops. We have this idea of central image management, which we'll cover in a moment, of managing once, decoupling OS apps and persona, and delivering that to pretty much any device. Closed-loop management is really building on our core competency of the software-defined data center, VC Operations Manager, vCloud Automation Center, all these types of tools where we're leveraging them to help manage and provide insight into the desktop infrastructure that our customers are running. And also, we're the only vendor that's optimized for the software-defined data center. We embrace virtual SAN for storage. We will be embracing NSX for networking. We embrace vSphere, clearly. We're designed to work in the best possible way with our core competency, which is vSphere and all the associated management products. And then finally, with Horizon, if you combine this with our Horizon DAS portfolio, which again will be coming soon to market from VMware later this year, but it's available through many partners already in region, we have the ability for our customers to choose where they host, whether they have this in public cloud, whether it's private cloud, or both. So it's really operating a completely flexible model in terms of how customers want to deploy and manage the end user experience. So I want to go into these a bit more detail. I think the most kind of exciting, at least for the technical audience, was the ability for us to deliver RDS-based applications or application remoting. So what we end up having is a single secure platform where, we're very well known for VDI. I think it's fair to say we're considered a leader in this space. What Horizon 6 allows us to do is to have a single platform where we bring together VDI desktops, RDS host applications, session-based desktops, and also thin apps, and deliver that through a single secure platform. In RDSH apps or application remoting, we're delivering that through our PCI over IP protocol, which ensures, we inherit all those great benefits that we have with VDI today. And it's really ideal for example, mobile users that need a few apps that are they're accessing on a non-Windows based device, or BOD and contract workers, or maybe it's just for IT that are looking to streamline day-to-day management and they want to deliver and manage just a few applications rather than the full desktop. But the reality is this platform allows our customers to do everything, where it's a complete desktop, VDI desktop, a shared desktop, or whether it's RDS-based applications or even thin apps which are run on and executed locally and natively on Windows platforms. Again, I want to briefly go over this again, but the idea of central image management, again, is key to us because, if you're delivering Windows in different models, you don't want to have to keep updating them in the same place. So today we support virtual machines, physical machines, and BYO in terms of how we manage the image itself. The idea here is you curate your image. You define the composition of windows and the security posture of Windows once. We break it up into layers, and then that allows us to start managing in one place and then delivering to all of these different types of scenarios. And this is really streamlining costs. If I need to patch something, I apply it to my central image. It gets ratified, and once it's available, everyone gets it. I don't need to manage these different use cases in different ways. And I think this is very unique in terms of, if you compare this to traditional PCLM tools that take a very physical approach to management. Central image management from Horizon allows us to decouple all those components and then deliver them in whatever delivery model that the customer needs. So I want to talk about the portal. I think this is the jewel, I believe, in our crown at VMware. You know, whether you're on a thin client, whether you're on an iPad, whether you're on a Mac or a Windows device, what you see here in this window is the experience that you get on any device, which is the ability to have a consistent single sign-in approach. So you log into your portal, and this can be customizable based on the customer. You can have your own logo, your own look and feel. You define your app catalog and have a central place to go where users can request apps. There's approval workflows, all the normal things you would associate with a corporate app store. But what you get at the end is this ability, and this is unique to VMware, to have one place to go to access all these types of resources, whether it's SaaS-based applications. Single sign-on for SaaS-based apps is a huge problem for our customers today. How do you control access to applications which aren't in your cloud? You know, for example, VMware uses Salesforce.com. I click on that almost every day, but what Horizon allows us to do is deliver that to me as a user. I don't know what my password is. I log into the Horizon portal once, I click on a SaaS app, and I get single signed on by Horizon and provisioned. And the good thing about that is if I leave the company, I no longer have access to Workspace, or I get deprovisioned a particular app, I can no longer access that SaaS-based application. So it's all about bringing control to applications which normally IT wouldn't have control to. We support Office 365 apps, Google apps, packaged thin apps for Windows, our virtual desktops with View, RDSH published applications, which are new with Horizon 6, and even Citrix Zen apps. We understand that many customers out there invested many years ago in Zen app, and maybe they do not want to rip and replace when coming to our solution. So we can point Workspace at an existing Zen app implementation, and then when you authenticate, you get all of the apps that would have been delivered by Citrix, and you get, again, a single sign-on experience. For customers that do want to move, we provide a very easy migration to move away from Zen app to our platform. In fact, we believe it's actually easier than the migration from Zen app 6.5 to Zen app 7. There's more information on that online if you're interested. But the key thing is, regardless of if you're on a zero client, a thin client, a PC, a Mac, an iPad, you get that same look and feel, that same experience. So in terms of the flavors that Horizon comes in, when we launched, we try and keep this as simple as we can for our customers. Horizon is available in 3 editions. Firstly, the Horizon View Standard Edition. So this is really designed around our primary use case for desktop, which is VDI. So the ability to have a very strong SDDC embracing VDI solution that's very cheap in comparatively to our competitors to run, that embraces storage, virtualization, networking, everything that you associate with VMware. We include ThinApps for app packaging, vSphere, and vSend, all the tools you need to get up and running very quickly. Horizon Advanced Edition is taking that one step further, where customers that want to not only do desktop virtualization, but want to look at doing application publishing, that want a unified workspace to bring everything together, that are interested in Virtual SAN, which is our storage virtualization technology, and also our central image management through Mirage and Fusion, all those other products we talked about earlier. This is Horizon Advanced Edition. And then finally, the Enterprise Edition, where this is our customers that want to realize full cloud operational abilities to be able to say, let's take all of these services and have very clear insight into the impact they're having on the infrastructure, to do planning, to understand capacity, if there's an issue, to be able to drill down and work out where it's coming from. And all of that is, again, included and bundled and based on our core competency of, vCenter Operations Manager, and there's a VCO plugin as well, and coming in the future will be vCloud Automation Center plugins as well. So the idea is, when you want a full operationalized cloud-based service, Horizon Enterprise is where you get all of that. In the future, all the additions will come to as well. So, we take a look at, so to summarize, we believe that users need one place to go for business apps and data, wherever they are, whatever device they want, and we believe, that users need to be remained productive at all times. And this is both for end users and business that employs them. It's one of the main drivers behind increasing this instance of desktop transformation projects that we've seen with customers over the years. And conversely, what end users and business want is that IT has to strive to deliver, which is the key issue, is how to do this while maintaining security, maintaining compliance and control over the desktop infrastructure estate. So what we deliver with Horizon 6 is the ability to deliver desktop and applications as a service from any cloud. So Horizon allows IT to basically simplify and secure and cost-effectively support all the different types of users that we see out there. And at VMware, we're confident that Horizon can deliver huge benefits, we believe, to your business, especially if you're looking to embrace what we call this mobile cloud era. And I've got this slide up here. This is just a very small subset of the customers in EMEA that have realized some success whilst working with VMware through partners like McBites as well. Significant brands, significant customers that are coming to us and embracing our vision and using our technology to embrace the mobile cloud era. So we're very proud of this list. In terms of slide content, we're coming to the end of what I want to cover in terms of slides. I want to open up to Q&A in a few moments, and maybe demo. But in terms of next steps outside of the Q&A, I just want to make you aware that VMworld is running. There'll be some important announcements coming for end-user computing in the next couple of weeks in August. We'll be following up that clearly, like we do every year, with VMworld EMEA on the 14th and 16th of October. So I'd urge you to look at coming to that event. It's a fantastic event. Not only do you get to hear from all the experts at VMware, but you get to play with the products. We have our hands-on labs there, and you can get to actually see and touch and play with them. Also, clearly we have VMware.com, which is a great resource where you can go and find out more, but there's also some good YouTube channels that I'd recommend where you can come and see live demos of the products. You can hear about our end-user computing strategy from our executives and get more background to this. So with that, I want to keep slides to a minimum if possible. At this stage, I want to basically hand it back to Amy and to Matt, and thank you again for the opportunity to talk and open up to questions. And if possible, if required, I'm happy to do a quick demo of the workspace as well.
Thank you, Andy. So if you do have any questions, if you could pop those in the questions box, and Andy will answer those for you shortly. So I think we actually have some already. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a question from Jane who's asked if you can elaborate on Virtual SAN.
Yeah, so Virtual SAN is a technology that's been brought into the portfolio very recently. It allows us to streamline the view over storage and to take all the disparate versions of storage that are out there, whether it's attached storage or flash, and to offer a kind of deliver that as a kind of service. The whole concept of what we do at VMware is software defined. You've heard that term before. So we did this idea of virtualization originally with compute, with CPU, with memory. So this is about kind of making storage look like a pool and be able to offer that in a much cheaper way to services. And a core use case of that would be, of course, VDI, where the cost of storage traditionally is quite high. Clearly, for the high-end storage, we have lots of partners that we have partnerships with. But virtual SAN is just really designed to help you get a pooled view of the storage that's available in your environment, and then to be able to assign it through policy to different types of use cases, VDI being one of them. Again, we can follow up with more information to you as well. I can provide you much more detailed information after the webinar.
Thanks, Andy. So we have a couple more questions, and one of the questions is that they would like to see the demo. But I'll go through these questions first. So someone's asked, so what is the performance like for delivering Horizon services to remote users on 3G? Is there a minimum bandwidth threshold?
Yeah, I don't have the exact figures. I've done it myself. I actually did this 3 weeks ago. I was in the Middle East, and I actually did this over a 3G connection, and I did this over HTML as well. I don't know what the exact figures are in terms of bandwidth and latency. I'll need to come back to you, but it's definitely possible. The reality is that's probably not recommended to run a full VDI desktop all the time on 3G, but it is possible. So where possible, either the reality is a lot of the processing is done centrally, so you're just really displaying what's going on. So in terms of the amount of data that we're putting over the wire, our PCI over IP protocol is very strong. It does work over 3G, but if you want a very rich, compelling, graphically intensive experience, I wouldn't recommend that over 3G as a normal day-to-day solution, but it does work. So where possible, if there are customers out there that are remote, that are not tethered or don't have a continuous network connection, sometimes VDI isn't the right use case for that type of user, in which case it's more likely, especially for me, I use VDI every day, but when I'm on the road and I'm in a hotel lobby or wherever I am, if I don't have a strong internet connection and I want to do lots of graphic intensive work as a marketeer, I tend to do that, then a better solution for me is a local and native approach. So we offer both, whether it's physical, virtual, whether it's remote or local. I know I've skirted around the issue. I don't know the exact bandwidth requirements. So again, I can look at and try and find what they are. But yes, it is possible.
Thanks, Andy. So Steve, like I mentioned before, has said, is there any chance that he would like to see the demo of the workspace and any chance of seeing an overview of the back-end management? But there's quite a few other questions as well. Would you like to answer those first and then do the demo? Or? Yeah,
sure. In terms of the demo platform that we have, I don't have access to the admin portion of it, so I can show you what an end user sees, and and this demo environment I'm using was stood up for me yesterday, so fairly basic, but it has pretty much everything in our workspace available. But I won't be able to show admin. But yeah, where possible, I'll look to answer the questions first and then come to the demo at the end. And of course, if there's any questions that I can't answer or I don't feel as though I have a complete answer to, we'll come back to the people that are asking the questions. So if we move to the next question.
Okay, great. So the next question is from Lee, and he's asked, what are the benefits of us migrating from Citrix 6.5 to VM rather than Citrix 7?
So when we look at, so firstly, with Horizon, we believe we're the only vendor that, when you start stacking all these use cases together, what we tend to find is with certain vendors, they'll focus on one use case and they'll say, oh, we're better than you for this one use case. What we're trying to say is, end-use computing is complex. There are different user models. There are different use cases. So the only way to address that is to have a centralized cloud-based system that offers desktop virtualization, physical device management, as we said, mobility throughout. All these things come together. So the reality is, as you'll see from Workspace, this provides one place for all of those use cases to be delivered in a secure fashion. So what we understand is that there are customers out there that have this existing investment. One of the drivers may be Windows OS support, and moving away to Windows 2012, in which case our understanding is that the migration process from 6.5 to 7 is a rip and replace. It's not necessarily as easy as it could be. So with our Workspace product, you can point that at Citrix, and that's it. You put a connector into Citrix. It's very easy to set up. When you log in with your credentials, you get all the Horizon applications, FinApps, SaaS, all those ones, but you also get all the Citrix ones there, and then you get single sign-on access. So for customers that want to keep Citrix 6.5, they don't want to migrate, they're going to keep it, fine. Bring it into our workspace, single sign-on experience, one place to go to. For customers that want to move, it's actually, we can go to the Citrix farm, we can query all the RDSH apps. I mean, it's slightly more complicated than what I'm saying, but you tick the apps that you want, and then they are available through our application publishing solution. In terms of migrating to a platform that's supporting, the latest hardware, the latest software, from the server perspective, it is actually much easier to come to us. But what we're not demanding our customers do is rip and replace. What we don't want to go to them, our customers will say is, you need to bin everything you do with 6.5 and you need to come to Horizon. We don't believe that's feasible. So more and more you'll see different methods, different apps, different data sources all coming into this portal, because we believe this is the best approach to aggregate all of that. In terms of why, if you look at the platform, VMware is undoubtedly the leader in cloud, in data center. It's unquestionable. We invented virtualization. We lead in compute virtualization. We have storage virtualization. We have network virtualization. When you start looking at the economics, when you start putting us all together and building a desktop infrastructure on our cloud and integrating it with, of course, the other aspects of the software-defined enterprise, hybrid cloud, other applications that are running that aren't related to desktop, the economics really start stacking up very well compared to having different systems for different platforms. We support heterogeneity as far as we can, but we're unapologetically single hypervisor, ours, because we're the best and we invented it, and we believe there isn't anything else on the market that can provide the economics of providing a data center environment to our customers. So from a Horizon perspective, we embrace heterogeneity. From an end user's perspective, from an IT admin, we want to provide the cheapest, securest platform to embrace all of this, and we believe that we're the vendor that can offer that. So if you decide to migrate from Citrix XNApp 6.5 to Horizon, you get all of the benefits that we just stated, a very simple deployment, very easy management, a single unified platform, and it embraces all those different types of user modes. And today in this webinar, I've only really covered desktop. I didn't cover mobility and AirWatch, which again, with a leading, if you look at any of the analysts, from Gartner, from IDC, AirWatch is clearly the leader in this space. And that's why VMware invested so much time, resources, and money in acquiring them. And they're integrating right now. So that's a very exciting time for us. So in short, we believe it's simpler to migrate to us. And then when you embrace Horizon or come to our solution, it's not just about application publishing. You get all of these other delivery methods all built in, all through that same platform, and it's very, very easy. I can send you, we have more material. There's also something that we're offering called a Safe Passage program you may have heard of, which is a program for our customers designed to show how easy it is to migrate from Citrix XNApp to Horizon. There's materials, there's how-to guides, everything that you would require, plus all of the economics that help stack up the business case. So we'll make sure that we share that to you via Bytes. Sorry.
Thanks, Andy. Okay, so we have a question here from Keith, who has asked, is VGDA fully supported in 6 for high-end 3D graphics using both NVIDIA and AMD solutions?
So yeah, I'll get back to you on the list of fully supported. So we support NVIDIA. The 3D support is for like shared and direct mode graphics, and we're continuing to improve that. So we announced partnerships with NVIDIA. There will be announcements further to that in the VMworld this year. But yeah, the concept is that for desktops that require highly intensive graphical apps, for the rest of the people that are listening, things like AutoCAD, the ability for us to put NVIDIA cards at the back end and then either share them across VDI desktops or have them directly aligned individually to individual VMs is key to what we believe support for 3D. In terms of the exact announcements, there's stuff coming for VMworld, so I'll get back to you with the details.
Okay, thank you. So we have a question here from Mark, who joined slightly late. So he said he's currently running VMware View 5.1. Is it a direct upgrade to Horizon 6?
Yeah, it's an upgrade. So you, all that's documented in the documentation. And then when you come to the platform, then it opens up to application publishing and all the other things that are available through the platform. So yeah, it's like any others. We try and keep it as simple as we can for our customers to move between different versions. If you're current, it depends on what you own, but if you're current and you've bought View Enterprise, you'll be entitled to Horizon View Standard, which was that first edition that you may have saw on one of the later slides. It depends on what, if you're current with your maintenance, you'll be entitled to the software, and it will make it as easy as possible for you to migrate over. Oh, sorry, not to migrate, to upgrade, sorry. That's the wrong choice of words.
Okay, so we have a question here from Mark, who's asked about graphics performance. He said, how does it compare to HDX or HDX Pro equivalents? He said that they've tried to use their GIS package or Street View over HDX and found it quite limiting.
Yeah. We're getting into the deeper, darker recesses of 3D technology, and that's not something that I have deep knowledge in. If you could send an email to me, or 3Bytes, and we'll get I'll get someone in the business unit and the product management to give you a detailed answer. In short, we believe that we stack up in terms of the protocol. We had I don't know, we call it protocol wars, PC over IP versus HDX. We believe that that's no longer an issue. When we talk to customers, it's not often that we get into those kind of conversations. We tend to more focus on the wider story around embracing all these different types of users and having one platform. So I don't have the answer to that, sorry. So if you can send the details, and we'll get an exact answer for you.
Yeah, I can set that up for you. So we have a question here from Richard, who's asked, will there ever be support for VDI non-persistent pools of Linux OSes in View?
Yeah, this is, yeah, so, well, no, I'm not saying yes, but I'm saying this is a requirement we hear. It's really interesting. I'd love to know more information about the industry that you work in. It's one of these use cases that we hear from certain aspects. We hear it from education quite a lot. We hear it in other verticals, but it is high on the agenda, and I'm not in a position to say whether we're going to do it or not in the near future, but it's almost a consistent discussion topic that we have with our product management team.
Andy, sorry to interrupt. He's just said it's education.
Yeah, so we hear it a lot from education. And typically our education providers are looking for cheaper ways to deliver IT, whether it's moving away from Windows and the licensing, whether it's using form factors like Chromebooks, for example. We have a partnership with Google, by the way, to integrate Horizon View with our Chromebooks, because we can access desktops through HTML5, not just our Horizon View client. Chromebooks and Horizon work really well together. We're seeing a lot of traction, especially in the US around that in education. Linux, if you could send me more information, I'll forward that on. We hear it a lot. And I guess the challenge is what type of Linux do we want to support? There's many different distributions, whether it's SUSE, whether it's Ubuntu, Red Hat, different types. And then it's about what kind of applications you want to run. Is it just that you want to run Linux and then access SaaS apps through a browser? I mean, that's very doable. Or is it you want native Linux applications to replace things like Office, to replace native Windows applications? I'd love to hear more from you. If you could maybe send me an email. My details will be back. I'll bring them up when I share my desktop again. But the answer at the moment is it's not in the product today. It's one of these. We have P0, P1s, and P2s in terms of how we prioritize our functions. And it's kind of been moving around P1 and P2. We just need to hear more testimony from our customers, because depending on what the minimum requirement is for a viable offering, potentially we can bring something to market very quickly, but we just need to know more information. So thanks for the question. The answer is it's very much high on the agenda. We just need to gauge market interest and where it would be applicable.
Thanks, Andy. Okay, so we have a question here from Jane who's asked, is the licensing model mature?
Hello, can you still hear me? You look like you cut off.
Hi, sorry, could you not hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. So we have a question from Jane who has asked, is the licensing model mature?
Is the licensing model mature? Could you provide a bit more context to the question? Is that the licensing for Horizon itself, or for the Windows that we're providing with Horizon? I don't really understand the question. So if you could provide a bit more detail in terms of what you mean by a licensing model.
Yep. So Jane, if you just pop that in the questions box, we can come back to that one.
Yeah. If it's licensing in terms of Horizon, we offer if it's Horizon, we offer based on concurrent or named users. So each of those 3 editions. In some cases where you buy the products a la carte, for example with Mirage, we offer the ability to buy on a per device basis if you need to. But in terms of, because everything, if you think about it, for Horizon is based on a user. So we want to move away from this kind of device kind of thinking. So if it's a named user, you come in and you have access to the entire portfolio, whether that's Workspace, whether that's VDI, published apps, native physical with Mirage, on a Mac through Fusion, on a Linux device through VMware Player. All of that's covered through the named user licensing. We try and keep it as simple as possible. I don't know if that answers the question. If you get a response, maybe we can come back to that question. Is there any other questions?
Okay, we have one more question. So this is from Steve, who said so that they have a lot of graphic designers using Adobe products. How would they provide a good working experience for designers?
So yeah, so this really comes back to the same question around, for high-intensive graphical implementations, we have the support to be able to use NVIDIA cards. We do a lot of really good processing with NVIDIA, so we can, we do support high-intense 3D graphical situations through our product. To be clear, in order to get those benefits, you need to access through the VMware client. So the experience for them is they'll get a full desktop. It'll look and feel the same as normal. It'll be accessed through either Workspace or directly through View. The way we provide a really compelling experience is by offsetting the graphical processing at the back end through these NVIDIA cards. And we offer different models of compute. So you don't have to give all the users the same experience. You might have a pool of designers that need graphically intensive desktops, and the rest you have a separate pool of desktops for those guys that aren't using NVIDIA graphics cards. So the answer is, through our partnership with NVIDIA, that's how our approach to embracing 3D. There'll be more announcements around that going forward for the rest of the year. So I think, I don't know when is there a hard stop of 11:30? Because I'm conscious that we want to do a quick demo as well.
We can, if you're happy to carry on, we can carry on after 11:30.
Absolutely.
Okay, so so Jane's actually responded. So she said, if she upgrades to Horizon 6, what licensing changes would she need to consider? And she said it's complex at the best of times, as need to consider Microsoft and Citrix environment, which would sit within Horizon 6. Sorry.
Yeah, so for the Horizon licensing, we believe it's pretty simple. Depending on where you come from, we look to simplify everything. So if you're an existing View-only customer, then there are upgrade paths to get them to View Standard, to View Advanced, and View Enterprise. And we have very good pricing for doing that. And we believe the upgrade paths are very simple. But you're right, I mean, we don't license Windows products. So if you're offering a VDI solution, you will need to make sure that you have the Windows licensing in place, either through SDA or whatever the licensing terms you want to use to provide the desktop and the access point. And clearly for Citrix, all we're doing is aggregating an existing Citrix implementation. We have many customers now since Horizon 6 that have come to us and have migrated away from Citrix. So they point our solution at the existing RDH servers. We migrate, well, we take the applications and we publish them to users through our solution, and then customers can then switch off Citrix if they want to, but we're not demanding that. You know, there are some customers that want to keep Citrix XenApp. They've had it for years and they don't want to remove it. It works, why not? But in terms of the wider EUC story, where we need to embrace desktop and Macs and mobility, that's where they can come to us and still have that existing investment, but move forward with VMware. We try and keep it very simple. So if you want to come to me with the exact scenario in terms of where you are today and what you own, we can definitely respond in terms of what license, or bytes count, I'm sure, what licenses you'll need to move to Horizon. But there are upgrade paths from whatever you own today in terms of the VMware portfolio. We can take you to any of those 3 editions of Horizon within one, worst case, 2 steps. So we try and keep our licensing at least as simple as possible. But I can't say the same for other vendors, especially with Microsoft, for example, where licensing can be quite complex.
Okay, thank you. So we have,
I think, was that the last question?
sorry, we've got some more. So we have this one.
No, it's fine. I'm here. I'm available.
Oh, okay, great, thank you. So we have a question from Andrew, who said, I hope I pronounced this right, when will VMware purchase Teradisy so updates can be released at the same time? And he's also said he currently has no support for Apex 2,800 cards in View 6.
Yeah. So I think I've heard the question. We've no plans to, as far as I'm aware, acquire Teradisy. If there are, that's certainly not something I'm aware of. Yeah, we work closely with them as a vendor. We use their protocol as a basis, and yeah, I mean, we try and align everything as best we can. But I'm not aware of any plans for us to buy the company. We have a very solid agreement with them in terms of ownership of the code, and it's core to our technology today. We believe it's the best protocol, obviously, and not just for display, but for the ability for us to then add in USB connectivity, webcams, unified comms, all the other things that we do, which I haven't gone into detail today. In terms of the other supported cards, again, if you could send me information on what that kind of card is. At the moment, our focus is on NVIDIA, but I'd love to know that kind of card that you're looking, and I can try and get an answer and see if we can get a roadmap for when we'll start supporting the other cards that you have. So I don't have the answer for that today.
Okay. So we have a question here from Steve, who asked the question before about the graphic designers. He said, can we virtualize OS X rather than Windows 7 when we do this?
So no. The reason I say that is it's not. This is actually a EULA agreement from Apple. I believe you can virtualize OS X. I actually did this years ago on Workstation if you run it on the Mac platform. Apple are very, very careful about their core concern is around end-user experience. That's why they control the hardware, and they're very protective over it. So they don't officially support any type of virtualization. And I think the one thing is they will let you do it maybe if it's virtualized on a Mac platform. So today, what we offer for Macs is our Fusion product, and that's about running Windows on Mac, Linux, or Windows devices. So at the moment, no plans to virtualize OS X.
Okay, thanks, Andy. So the last questions, just so David's asked if, sorry, just have one more question from David, who said, would it be possible to view the recording? And I can answer that. Yes, so we will send you all the webinar recording after the webinar. We'll send that to you today. So that's the last of the questions we have, Andy, if you want to go ahead and go through with the demo.
Okay, so if I can I share my, I think you need to pass me the ball maybe. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, yeah, you can see it.
Okay, so this is VMware's Workspace. So this is what's out in market today, and currently I'm running this on a Mac. So this would be the same experience on an iPad, on a Google Nexus Android phone, on a Zero client, inside a VDI desktop. You know, it's a HTML5 based portal. And here you can see this is a demo environment, so there's not much applications in there. We actually use this internally at VMware, where we have around 14,000 people that use our workspace internally. This is a demo platform, so the number of apps here is fairly contrived. So we have this idea of, firstly, an app catalog where users can go and request access to either things like desktop resources, SaaS applications, Citrix applications, Windows applications that are hosted, Windows applications that are virtualized. Like, for example, this type of application is a Windows app. So this has been virtualized using SignOn. So it's a container, a .exe, that can be delivered to pretty much any Windows device. Here we have PowerPoint. So if I look at this, this is a Windows application that's hosted using VMware's remote desktop application solution. So I'm just going to add some of these. Here, Virtual IE6 is a Windows application. Now I'm accessing this on Mac at the moment. So you can see that some of the apps here are grayed out. These applications are the Windows apps, because clearly Mac doesn't have the ability to run native Windows applications. There's no way of doing that. If I access this portal on a Windows device, either a VDI desktop or a native Windows laptop, then these would not be grayed out. Okay, because I'm logged in as me, I would get the same experience. I can move the icons around, order them however I want. And it's not just applications, it's desktops. So here I have Windows 7 VDI desktop. I have in this case, this is a shared desktop. So an RDS8 shared desktop, and this is a Windows 8 desktop as well, which is a view desktop. These applications are hosted applications. So this is the application, not the desktop in its entirety, that will be published back to the user. And then we have a combination of Windows applications, again, more hosted apps, and SaaS-based applications as well. So for example, SocialCast, that's our social tool at VMware that we sell as well to our customers. And there's an example of a SAML-based application. The reality is when you click on this application, like for example on the VMware Live workspace, if I click on Salesforce.com or WebEx or Workday or all these types of applications we use within VMware, I don't know or need to know what the password is. I authenticate to VMware Workspace once, and I get a single sign-on experience into all these types of resources. So, for example, if I was to click on Windows 7, this is going to use the View client. If I go back, there's actually a choice where you can either do it, if I right-click, I can do it with the Horizon client, which is what it's doing now, or I can open this in a browser and have the VDI desktop displayed and rendered natively in my, in this case I'm using Chrome on a Mac. Any HTML5 compliant browser will be supported. So what I'm giving you is a single sign-on experience into my desktop, and this is my view desktop where, again, I have applications. So for example, if I look at running Workspace, not only, in this case, I'm accessing on a Windows device, so FileZilla is actually an application that's been delivered by Workspace onto my desktop. So this is an example of the thin app that was grayed out on the Mac. Because I'm accessing my Workspace from a Windows device, obviously I can run native applications. So if I look, so if I access the Workspace on the VDI desktop itself, this is me accessing the same Workspace, which you can see on Mac here. I'm now inside my VDI desktop and I'm accessing the same thing. And you notice that Workspace is the first time I've delivered and logged into this desktop is installing Windows applications that have been assigned to me. Here I can see that FileZilla is not grayed out because it's a Windows desktop. I can choose to open the application. The first time I do this is the first time I've run this. I get the virtualized app running and it's delivered to me. Again, IE6. And then from here I can still run hosted applications as well. So the idea is this is the Workspace on in this case Windows in a VDI desktop. This is the workspace on a Mac. It's the same on an iPad. It's the same on any device. I log in and I get a tailored experience that's for me. If I look at, for example, the great thing is, as I move in and out of this application, when I go back to Windows 7 from any other device, I have that continuity. So think of a doctor, for example. They're moving between patients and they're using thin clients or iPads or PCs. All they need to do is connect back to their desktop, and they get the same experience. And the desktop is where it is, left off where they last left it. So this idea of persistence is really a really strong feature. If I take one of these applications, so this is an application that is published based on our technology with Horizon. So this is not a desktop; it's just the application that's being published. In this case, it's going through the Horizon View client as well. So this obviously is Publisher, which, to be honest, I've never used in my life, running on a Mac. You'll see that when I minimize, the integration with the Mac platform is very, very good. It looks like a native application. It feels like a native application. I can drag, I can resize. This application is running in Palo Alto. I'm sitting in the UK office in Frimley, and I can't tell the difference. So it's very, very compelling. Exactly all the benefits that we have and brought to market with our VDI solution are inherited through our application publishing. It's using the same client, and all those advantages that we have with View get inherited by our application publishing solution. So that was a published application. In this, I don't think, an example of a Citrix-based application. But again, they would appear in here. You click on it. It'll ask if you have the Citrix receiver. If not, it gives you a link to go and get the receiver. You click on the app, and you get a single sign-on experience into the Citrix app using the Citrix receiver. Again, if you want to migrate, you just take that application, bring it into Horizon, and then use our publishing platform instead. It's very, very simple in comparison to migrating from XenApp 6.5 to XenApp 7. So I don't have an iPad on me, but again, same experience. Log in, these are the applications, and I can request them, and it's all tied to my identity. So I don't know if there's any questions in terms of the demo, but I've shown you Windows 7, there's Windows 8, there's published applications, there's SaaS-based applications, there's Windows applications, and they're all available in one place through a browser. I guess one thing I could show you is if I open with a browser. So in this case, I've decided maybe you're on an unsecure machine, maybe you're on a machine that isn't yours. This isn't the View client. This is, if I do that, this is a Chrome window. Okay. This desktop is being rendered directly in HTML5. There's no View client, and as you can see, this is where I left off. This was the window I had open when I came in with the View client, and the fidelity that you get through HTML5 is fantastic. So imagine this, I can access this desktop through HTML5 pretty much from any device as long as it's got a HTML5 browser. That's all I need. So think about the freedom that you could potentially give to users, where if they want to access their View desktop from a shared machine in a public library or in Starbucks or in a shared machine, whatever it may be, you don't have to enforce putting the View client on there. You can access through, in this case, HTML5. And it's the same experience. You log in, you get your apps through our workspace product, and it's all unified. So in terms of the demo, that's, I guess, what I want to show you. Just to reiterate, this is a full VDI desktop being delivered through HTML5 rather than our View client. So hopefully that gives you a good view. Again, I'd point you to our YouTube channel. We're starting to do a lot more demo videos. We show you Citrix apps running. We show you the migration process. We show you the setup for Horizon. We talk about our strategic vision. We're very bullish. We are fully committed to investing in this space. It is a priority of this company, and hopefully you've seen that for the brief webinar that I've shown you and the very quick technology demo. But come to VMworld, come to VMware.com and learn more. So with that, unless there's any other questions, I think we should close the session down. And again, thank you to everyone that's come. Please get in contact with me. My name is Andy Philp, and my contact details are on the screen now. So if you want to get in contact with me, please do. If not, go through Bytes, a great partner of ours at VMware. Thank you.